Rick and Morty is well known for crossing the lines and talking about some of the most seemingly taboo subjects. Personally, I felt that Season 4, Episode 4 was the most sexual and weird out of the whole series. Much like our previous episodes, there are two storylines and they merge together at the end. The main storyline is the dragon one and the talking cat as a separate side story. First off, Morty is being a pain in the ass by asking Rick to get him a dragon. This is not a difficult task for Rick, obviously because he's capable of doing almost anything, but he doesn't want to. Throughout this episode and previous ones, it seems quite clear that Rick does not like supernatural occurrings, irrationality and magic that cannot be explained by science. This is why he makes fun of certain film tropes that make no sense for him. Anyway, like I discussed in my previous review in Korean, for Rick his status in the Smith family is extremely important. When Beth got back together with Jerry in Season 3, Rick's position went way down in the family hierarchy, and you can see how Beth is pushing Rick to get Morty a dragon, which is the first thing she asks him when he's laying down on the hospital bed. Rick is almost forced to do so because of his status. Finally, Morty makes a soul bond with a dragon that Rick got for him. The dragon introduces himself much like Daenerys Targaryen with a very condescending attitude. Rick takes none of it and calls the dragon a scraper of his own poop. Here, as much as Rick not liking the concept of dragons, the dragon does not seem to like Morty either. What he was interested in is more of a complex and intelligent being, and it seemed like mankind was not worth his interest. On the contrary, a cat which appeared out of nowhere to Jerry preferred simpleness. It seeked a being that didn't ask questions and went with the flow. Jerry was perfect for this. The cat also easily manipulated Jerry by provoking him, touching on his self-consciousness and his shaky position in the household because of Rick. What the cat wanted was to go to Florida, where the simplest people enjoyed themselves without asking questions. Florida stereotypically is well known for its population of airheaded people running around on the beach, and hence the Florida Man meme. We see how a lot of the most thoughtless accidents happen in Florida. This probably was the best place for the talking cat to blend in without questions being asked. Going back to the dragon story, Rick now became super annoyed with Baltimore and decided to slay him. But when they confronted each other, the dragon became impressed by Rick's genius and talent, and Rick also with what the dragon possessed. There they became attracted to one another and had their secret affair. Rick, despite being the smartest man in the universe, now has the weakest voice in the household, and his chronic loneliness and depression made him yearn for attention. The dragon, who sought a higher intelligence, found someone who shared an insight beyond what could be seen. So the two eventually soul bonded, which turned out to be a sexual thing. Soul bonding with a dragon is a reference from previous fantasy novels, but it was extremely weird seeing this depicted in a sexual way. The deeper into the episode, the show does not even try to be discreet about this. Unfortunately, this affair was caught red-handed by Morty and Summer, and the dragon is punished for being a slut. And because Rick was soul bonded with the dragon, he was forced to save Baltimore when he was sentenced to death. In the magical realm, Rick's science did not work, and he constantly mocked the concept of magic due to its irrationality. Morty, on the other hand, sticks to magic spells and believes in this kind of stuff. Anyways, they eventually did rescue Baltimore, but was defeated by the wizard who had oppressed the dragons from soul bonding freely. Rick and the others ended up in a place where the so-called slut dragons all lived together, hiding from the wizard. In this slut cave, the writers don't even bother to use metaphors and uses explicitly sexual languages. All in all, Summer saves the day by enlightening the dragons to escape from this oppression, and the dragons were able to become free through a group soul bonding, which was honestly painful to watch. Summer, as you would see in previous episodes, is someone who is rather quick-minded and plays a spokesperson role in a lot of the episodes. She is good at persuading people and is not afraid to speak up in front of a crowd. While the dragons became free thanks to the group soul bonding, Rick still hates magic and the magic world and comments on this adventure as the worst ever. The shameless dragon keeps hitting on Rick and Morty but fails terribly. Cat, on the other hand, ended up in Florida with Jerry, where nobody was interested in his talking ability. It seems as though he is in fact looking for some kind of attention. He was the one rather asking questions to Floridians that didn't care or ask, and hence got kicked out. Rick takes out Jerry and the cat to figure out why the animal could talk. The results were horrendous, which the viewers are not able to see. If it was that bad for Rick, how terrible could it be? He is someone who's seen things beyond our imagination in infinite realities. We hear distant cries of babies and Jerry talking about his parents. Maybe it had something to do with babies and old people. However, the point of this is that it's not worth asking and what happens in the Rick and Morty world, and it is not something we can speculate, break down, or figure out every detail of. Maybe what I'm doing right now, analysing the show, is not even worth it. To conclude, as Rick mentions as well, the talking animals concepts clash, but why were they in the same episode together? This is because the stories make a contrast and are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. The dragon represents irrationality and magic that admires and reveres science and rational intelligence, but the cat has a power that can be explained rationally and scientifically, and yet it wants irrationality and non-thinking. Hence the dragon goes for the most complex and intelligent human being on the show, while the cat picks Jerry, the simplest and dumbest character. And while Rick did enjoy his little affair playing with magic and irrationality, he soon comes back to himself. He was the least enthusiastic throughout the episode out of all the series combined. The cat and the dragon both come with an irony as well. The dragon represents magic itself but disregards Morty, who believes in magic. The cat contradicts himself by asking people to not ask questions, while he kept on mentioning this over and over as if he wanted someone to ask why he couldn't talk, and ended up asking questions to others himself. Then the two meet, and maybe they are a good match.